Hi, hello.
Hello.
Welcome back. Or
Hi.
or welcome if you're new.
Yes.
My name is Denisha.
I'm Ashley.
And this is
the
Afterlife Hotline.
Yeah, the
That.
Afterlife. The Afterlife Hotline. Woo! It's a dark and gloomy day.
That it is. You can't tell because the curtains are closed. But
Yeah. I don't even know if you guys will be able to hear the thunder off of the microphones.
I don't know.
They're probably too noise canceling.
Yeah, because I thought your dad's conversation the other day would pick up, and it did not. So I had to cut that whole thing out because we were like,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, yeah. It's a gloomy day, and it's thundering, and it's lightning.
and it's a Monday.
And it's a Monday. It's a gloomy Monday. It's a nap time Monday.
It is. It is a stay in bed and wear your what I call the grout fit, the gray outfit.
Yep. Which is what I'm wearing right now, except it's not gray, but it's fine.
I mean, comfy. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
But today we're just doing something.
You and I are both just like...
Yeah, my coffee is not hidden. Today we're going to read some stories off of a Facebook page. This is from Modern Mystery. So everything you hear from us in story is going to be from Modern Mystery. We figured this would just be fun, light, and maybe a little creepy and stuff that we wouldn't necessarily find on our own.
Yeah. And going through some of these stories, they seem really interesting. Now, are all of these true? Or are they like made up?
I don't know. I have no idea.
We'll let y'all decide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us true or false.
It says, what does it say? Unsolved stories, eerie facts, and curious twists from all around the world.
So in that regard, like you would think it's true.
Yeah. Did you realize that there's 444 followers? 444,000 followers?
I did not.
Yep. I saw that last night, and they're almost at 444,000 likes. Something about fours, and then 48,000 posts. That's a lot of posts.
That's a lot of posts.
But yeah, I saw 444,000 followers.
It's okay. When I did my tarot reading today, I pulled 2 10s.
Oh. Interesting.
Did 10 of junk and 10 of pots.
I wonder what that means.
I don't know.
10 of junk and 10 of pots.
Labyrinth deck.
Oh, I was trying to figure out which deck that was.
I think pots is cups. I think
What'd you say? Pots and pans?
junk. Pots. Pots. 10 of pots and 10 of junk. Oh fuck! I know what it is. Because feathers is
Wands?
Feathers is wands. Cups is
Pentacles?
pots. Yeah.
Junk is pentacles?
Yeah. That.
Reach my soul, please.
Yeah, mine's not hidden. I even put it in the Disney cup.
Okay. So, this is why we usually have a script. But it's fine.
So this one was posted on March 4th, and it says, on October 4th, 1976, at 2:11 a.m., the night guard at the abandoned Coldwater copper mine outside of Butte, Montana, recorded movement in the old surface hoist indicator inside the maintenance shack. The mine had been closed for 3 years. Coldwater Mine shut down in 1973 after declining copper yields made operations unprofitable. The main shaft was capped with a welded steel plate and a heavy concrete barrier. The hoist engine had been dismantled and removed during decommissioning. He's been real lovey the past 2 days. Like, he actually let me be Big Spoon.
Maybe it's because you are about to start your period.
Like, literally, we were on the couch playing Mario Party. He jumps up, and I'm sitting, like, leaned over with my legs like that. And he gets right in the middle and just sleeps.
You're like, thanks, buddy.
So, the only mechanical position indicator remained mounted on the wall. The indicator was a simple device connected by a cable to the elevator cage deep in the shaft. During active operation, it showed the cage's position and it moved between the levels underground. At 2:11 a.m., the indicator needle moved. The guard noted in his log that the needle slowly began climbing upward across the numbered depth markings. Jesus fuck. I'm not retaining anything of what I'm reading. I'm not going to lie. The movement was steady, identical to the rate recorded when the cage traveled normally during mining operations. No power was existed in the system. The hoist motor had been removed entirely.
Wait, so the whole entire system to make it move was gone, but it was moving?
Yeah.
That's weird.
But the indicator was moving.
Oh.
Which the indicator was supposed to show, obviously, that the whole thing was moving.
Oh. See, you're retaining something. I just had to remind you.
The indicator mechanism itself was purely mechanical and required the hoist cable to physically turn its internal gears. The guard watched the needle rise from the 900-foot level to the 600-foot mark. He wrote that movement continued for nearly 3 minutes before stopping at the surface position. So basically, it went from to the top.
Oh.
The indicator settled exactly on the 0 mark labeled on the main platform. The guard stepped outside the shack and walked to the shaft entrance. The steel plate covering the shaft remained welded into place. The concrete seal around its edges was undisturbed. No sound came from beneath the ground. He returned to the shack at 2:19 a.m. The needle on the indicator had not moved again. It remained fixed at the surface level marking. No mechanical noise or vibration was heard inside the building. Mining engineers inspected the site the following week. They confirmed that without the hoist engine and the cable tension system, the elevator cage could not physically move inside the shaft. The cable connecting the indicator to the shaft mechanism had been severed during the closure. The guard's handwritten logs remain stored in the county mining archive. It records the elevator indicator rising steadily throughout 900 feet of underground levels before stopping exactly at the surface of the mine whose elevator could no longer move. So it went from the very bottom
That's weird.
to the very top while being sealed and severed and disconnected.
Did it say anything about people dying down there?
Mm-mm.
Spoopy. Now I wonder what was moving the thing.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure some people did die. It was a copper mine.
It's giving Descent. Isn't that how the second movie was? As they were going in through the mine shaft?
An old mine shaft, yeah.
Yeah. Ugh.
Which the second movie technically, it depends on how you look at it, but it can be canon, it cannot be canon. Because the UK ending never has the main girl leave the cave.
I don't like it.
But the US thought that was too dark. So they made an alternative ending, which allowed for the second movie.
And, All right. Well, on March 12th, 2001, at 2:38 a.m., the night concierge at the Briarwood Apartments in Columbus, Ohio, received a call through the lobby intercom system. The panel displayed Unit 6F. Unit 6F has been vacant since 1996.
The year I was born.
Hey! The tenant previously assigned to 6F had died in the apartment 5 years earlier. The unit was cleared, cleaned, and left empty pending renovation. The interior wiring for the intercom had been disconnected from that unit after repeated complaints of malfunction. The concierge answered. There was no greeting, no request to be buzzed in, only the faint sound of breathing, steady and close to the receiver. The concierge asked who was calling, but there was no response. After approximately 12 seconds, the line clicked and went silent. The intercom displayed cleared automatically as it does after a completed call. At 2:41, the intercom rang again. Unit 6F appeared on the panel. The concierge did not answer. The call stopped on its own after 20 seconds. Security footage from the lobby showed no one entering the building between 2 and 3 a.m. Exterior cameras showed no one near the main entrance or side doors, and the building required a physical key to access the stairwell leading to the 6th floor. 2 maintenance staff members were contacted and arrived at 3:18 a.m. They used a master key to access the unit. The apartment was empty, the floors were bare, no furniture remained. The intercom handset inside the unit was hanging on the wall, its cord intact but visibly disconnected from the internal wiring panel. The wiring box was inspected. The 2 copper lines that once connected the handset to the building system were capped and taped. No loose connections were visible. No signs or tampering were present. The building's intercom control unit in the basement was examined the following morning. The system log showed 2 outgoing calls from 6F at 2:38 and 2:41, each lasting under 20 seconds. No error codes were recorded. Electricity to Unit 6F had been turned off at the breaker panel in 1997. The breaker remained in the off position. The incident was documented as a wiring anomaly. No further disturbances were reported from 6F. The apartment was renovated and leased to a new tenant in 2003. No intercom issues were reported after that. The archived maintenance log still contains the entry noting 2 calls placed from a vacant unit whose handset had been physically disconnected and whose power had been off for nearly 4 years. That's weird. Weird. I wonder if the new person knew that somebody died in that apartment.
You know,
Did they have to disclose that in Ohio?
I don't know. I know they do have to disclose it in some places because we read about that.
Yeah, because apparently in Arkansas they don't have to disclose that.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
Ner. No, we learned that firsthand. Not from us, but from somebody we knew. So, I still can't believe that they did that. What?
Who?
The person who FAFO'd at the other apartments?
Okay.
Yeah, and they didn't have to disclose to anybody that happened and allowed somebody else to move in.
I forgot about that, yeah. I forgot that happened.
Yeah. I'm wondering what happened the other night, because when you're looking out from our balcony to our left, this building, at the end of it, because I heard sirens and I was like, those sound really close. And I looked out the window and I see a fire truck zooming down the side road, and I was like, oh. And they came around and I could see their lights flickering from the building, like onto the buildings. And then in comes an ambulance, and I'm just like, hopefully someone's okay. I couldn't see shit from my balcony.
If there wasn't a cop, then
I think it was probably just a medical emergency.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were there for a good minute. So I'm wondering, like, maybe like seizure or something like that. I don't know.
Could be. I know whenever Mom fell and she couldn't get back up, it was the fire department and an ambulance had come to help.
It's the fire department is always the first one there. Even if they're not the ones that need to be that are like necessarily needed.
Except for whenever, and this isn't a laughing matter at all, but do you remember when I lived, what was it? Gravel Ridge area? So the house across from us went up in flames. And I remember because my room was right in the front, and all I saw was this orange glow. It's the middle of the night.
Oh shit.
And so I called 911, but other people had already called 911. It's the middle of the night, and there was a service station, a fire department station, not 5-10 minutes walking distance to us, and they were the last ones to show up. I think it took about 45 minutes.
I'm wondering if it was more of a volunteer fire station and people had to get up and get there.
That, or it might have been because we were technically in that weird, like, are you Gravel Ridge? Are you Sherwood?
So they're probably sitting like, who do we send out? Just like whoever's fucking closest.
Whole thing up in flames.
Jeez. Well, that's what had happened at Mom and Dad's house whenever they had that vent fire. It took them, I would say, at least a good 20-30 minutes just to get out there. And it's just like, yeah, we live in the middle of nowhere, but like, come on now, that's a vent system. Like, you can't even see the fucking fire.
Yeah.
All I remember is I woke up and 2-foot flames were coming out of my vent in my room. Thank God. I think Mom had sprayed down into the vent system with the fire extinguisher, but they still had, obviously, the fire department come in and see if everything was...
Yeah, because, I mean, there could have been
whatever.
The smallest of spark or flame, and you guys would have had no idea.
I think I told you about this, but the weird fucking part about that is as the fire department was in our house making sure that there was no other fire throughout the vents, our neighbor comes over to the house.
Oh, yeah.
Our neighbor comes over to the house, and she goes, I know that you guys are dealing with with their house fire and, you know, stuff like that, but my husband's blue and he's not breathing. So the fire department looked at us and like, are we good? Like, can we go over? And we're just like, yeah, do whatever you need to do. Her husband was dead. She woke up and he was blue. And he had, I guess he had been dead for a little bit. I don't know. But like, I was like.
The fact that happened, like.
Like, what?
You know, maybe, and this is,
We were thinking it was him that caused it to get the people out there, but he passed. It wasn't like he got saved or anything, unfortunately. But I was like, that was so weird. And she felt so bad. She was like, I know that they're helping you, but my husband's blue. Can they come? I was like, yes.
maybe it was the universe's way of getting somebody out there.
That's what I'm thinking.
Because
It was so weird.
had it not been for the fire, she probably would have woke up the next day to that. And I mean, unfortunately, he didn't get saved, but like,
Yeah, because this was like early morning. Like John and I didn't even go to school that day. So it was, yeah, that was really weird. I was like, whoa. Weird timing.
All right. My next one is from March 4th. It's a radio tower, just so that you can scroll effectively and find what you need to find. On November 14th, 1993, at 1:52 a.m., the county emergency frequency in Pine Hollow, West Virginia, briefly carried a repeating distress signal on Channel 7. I need the cutest.
His little head's just like...
The transmission lasted approximately 40 seconds before cutting off. The signal originated from Tower KXH-91. Tower KXH-91 had been shut down earlier that year.
Oh.
The site was decommissioned in June after a newer communications tower replaced it several miles away. The transmission equipment had been removed and the electrical service was disconnected. The tower stood empty on a wood bridge. Dispatch operators initially assumed the signal came from another agency operating on a nearby frequency. However, the radio identifier embedded in the transmission matched the exact ID code previously signed to KXH-91. The message itself was fragmented. It consisted of short bursts of static followed by a male voice repeating a phrase that sounded like coordinates. The numbers were partially obscured by interference. No unit call sign was included. The dispatcher attempted to respond, but there was no reply, and the signal ended abruptly at 1:53 a.m. So this lasted a minute. Maintenance records. Learn to read and then think about what the context is because things can be pronounced different ways. Maintenance records confirmed that the tower had no active transmitter connected to it. The internal equipment rack had been removed during the shutdown. The building at the base of the tower contained only empty mounting brackets and disconnected wiring. At 2:40 a.m., a deputy was sent to the site. The gate at the gravel access road remained chained. The tower building door was still secured with the padlock placed during decommissioning. The deputy reported no lights, no generator noise, and no equipment visible through the window. The weather conditions were calm and clear. No lightning or atmospheric disturbances were recorded in the area that night. Audio technicians reviewed the dispatch recording later the morning. The signal strength matched the transmitter located within 5 miles of Pine Hollow. The waveform matched the broadcast profile previously used by KXH-91 before its shutdown. The coordinates spoken during the transmission were incomplete and could not be matched to any location. No additional transmissions were ever recorded from the tower. The recording remains stored in the County Communications Archive. It documents a distress broadcast call on the radio tower whose power had been disconnected, but whose transmission equipment had been removed months earlier.
Interesting. That would make me really want to know, like, what coordinates
it was. Like,
it was it like like they were trying to get them to find something or whatever, and they only had enough energy to get out that amount of information before it cut off?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that would drive me nuts because I'd be like, okay, I need to know more.
Figure it out, like what
happened.
Need to
know. Oh man. Oh man. That's crazy. That's crazy how like the Afterlife can seem to utilize stuff like that even after it's like shut down and turned off and whatever.
Well, because that plays into the whole energy thing.
Yeah. On November 2nd, 1986 at 7:18 a.m., the ground supervisor at Evergreen Memorial Cemetery in Central Missouri unlocked the small administrative office to begin preparing paperwork for the next week's scheduled services. The cemetery relied entirely on handwritten ledgers to record plot assignments, burial permits, and vault placements. A fresh entry had been added overnight. The line listed plot section F, row 12, grave 4. It included a full name, date of birth, and date of burial recorded at 1:32 a.m. The entry was written in dark ink and signed with initials that did not match any cemetery employee. No burial had been scheduled. The cemetery gates had been locked at dusk the previous evening. There were no night staff assigned. The only access point was secured with heavy chain and padlock, and no duplicate keys were missing from the office. The supervisor walked to section F. The soil at grave 4 appeared recently disturbed. The grass was flattened in a rectangular shape consistent with excavation equipment. However, there were no tire tracks on the nearby service road and no footprints in the damp earth from the light rain that had fallen just before midnight. When the workers probed the ground with metal rods, they encountered resistance approximately 6 feet down, consistent with a burial vault. No burial permit had been filed with the county clerk for that plot. County records were checked. The name listed in the ledger belonged to a woman who had died in 1974 and was buried in another state. Her grave location was verified through archived documents. The initials on the cemetery entry did not match any former or current groundskeeper. The ink used was the same brand kept in the office supply drawer. The pen itself was missing when inventory was taken later that morning. You have inventory for pens? The supervisor ordered the grave to remain undisturbed pending further instruction. Law enforcement was notified but declined to exhume without a formal complaint or a next of kin request. Over the next week, the soil at grave 4 settled naturally as if the vault had been placed and backfilled properly. No headstone was ever installed. The plot remains unmarked. The ledger page is still stored in the cemetery archives. It documents a burial recorded at an hour when the gates were locked, no service was scheduled, and no official permit existed for the grave that appears to have been filled. I don't like that.
Wow.
That just means they're very capable of doing things.
Mm-hmm.
I.e. burying a whole ass casket in the middle of the night.
Which is wild to me.
Yeah, because, like, it's one thing if the ground was just, like, disturbed or something, but the fact that there's, like, a whole ass casket in there, I'd be wanting to dig up the casket just to see what the casket was.
Like, what was in that?
But I think that's legal, so.
I think it depends on, you can exhume a body and stuff like that, but you'd have to just go through proper channels.
Yeah, I think that's what they said. Where was it? Because I literally read that word and I was like, what the fuck does that mean? The supervisor ordered the grave to remain undisturbed pending further instruction. Law enforcement was notified but declined to exhume without a formal complaint or next of kin request.
Yeah, so they declined.
So since nobody was there for the body, they were just like, well, it's got to stay on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Because a lot of times, like if in cold cases and stuff like that, when they finally get a lead, they'll go to the family of the cold case and they'll ask to exhume the body to re-examine.
But at that point, like, how do you know it's actually the name that was put on the ledger? Like, how do you know? Do you not have any videos or cameras out in the cemetery or pointed to the cemetery? Because at that point, I'd be like, somebody just got away with murder and just buried a body out in the thing.
Which is what I would think.
Yeah. But I guess also, too, like, it didn't say that anybody broke into the funeral home to write down the stuff. Like, there was no evidence of someone breaking in. And it happened at 1:30 in the morning. Suspicious.
That's suspicious.
I think a ghost just got away with murder.
How to Get Away with Murder, Ghost Edition.
Especially if she was already buried in a different state.
Honestly.
I can just imagine you go outside and you just see this coffin just floating through the skies. Just like, yep, I'm just making my way to a different cemetery in a different state.
We got our thumbnail.
Oh my gosh, yes. They're like, oh my God.
And have the wind trail behind it or something.
Like, jeez Louise.
So mine is on July 28th, 1983 at 11:57 p.m. Emergency dispatch in Claiborne County, Arkansas, received a phone call routed from a roadside payphone along State Route 19. Approximately 4 miles south from town limits. The call lasted 1 minute and 12 seconds before disconnecting. The caller identified himself only by first name and stated that he had hurt someone badly. He gave a vague description of a wooded turnout area near the highway and said that the person was not breathing anymore. The dispatcher attempted to obtain further details, but the call ended abruptly. A patrol unit was dispatched and arrived at the listed payphone location at 12:19. The booth was intact, the headset was still on the hook, there were no vehicles present, and there were no visible signs of a struggle or recent activity in the immediate area. He always just...
You're so chunky.
I do that all the time. Or, like, he'll walk and I'll be like, I like 'em big. I like 'em chunky.
Like, where you go, brother? Come back, brother. Brother, I just walked all the way up here and now you leave me to go downstairs.
It's because brother 1 ate and brother 2 is about to go make sure brother 1 didn't eat his food because he's a fat ass. Officers canvassed the surrounding woods with flashlights and vehicle spotlights for several hours. No body was found, no blood, no clothing, disturbed soil, or even drag marks were located. The search was suspended at dawn and resumed the following day with no additional results. Telephone company records confirmed a call was placed from that specific payphone at 11:57 p.m. My numbers are not working today. The line was functioning normally. There was no malfunction. There was no malfunction or misrouting detected. The call could not be traced from beyond the booth itself.
Your call cannot be completed as dialed.
Please try again later.
Or hang up, or press 1 for more options. Beep.
Press 1 for blah, blah, blah. That was our old intro.
Boo! Oh my gosh.
Press 2 if you've been possessed by a demon.
Oh man.
Investigators treated the call as a potential homicide report, opening a case file. Missing persons reports from the county and neighboring jurisdictions were reviewed with the following 6 months. None of them matched the limited description provided on the call. The dispatcher who took the call noted in her report that the caller's voice was calm and steady with no signs of panic or intoxication.
They were probably dead.
Did I say that right? Intoxication? Yeah.
Yeah.
Background noise on the line included passing traffic and what sounded like wind moving through the trees. There were no other voices heard. Search efforts expanded weeks later after a local hunter reported an abandoned campsite deeper in the woods. The site contained a cold fire pit, food wrappers, but no identifying materials. It could not be linked to the phone call. No further calls were ever received from that payphone, and the booth remained in service for another 2 years before it was being removed as a part of the highway upgrade. The case file was eventually reclassified as inactive due to lack of evidence, and the recording of the call is preserved in the county archive. It documents a confession to a violent act, a location that was searched repeatedly, and an investigation that never identified a victim.
I wonder if they looked into it to see if anything had ever been, like, found there before.
Oh, that's a good point.
Like, if it was residual.
Yeah.
Like a residual haunting or something.
That's very valid.
Because especially if they couldn't find anything, I'd have been like, okay, well, let's check the records to see if anything might have happened here.
Mm-hmm.
Or there might not have been any records, and whatever happened, they did actually get away with.
How to Get Away with Murder, Ghost Edition.
Have you been reading the title of them before you?
No, I haven't been looking at the pictures. I've just been going off of the...
Okay.
Because of the laptop, I can see the whole story before I see the picture.
Okay. On February 11th, 1974, at 6:38 a.m., the county's coroner's assistant at the Ridgeway General Hospital is in Royal, Missouri. Rural.
Bumfuck nowhere, Missouri.
Began the morning intake review. The hospital morgue used a handwritten ledger to track every opening and closing of refrigeration drawers. Each entry required a time, drawer number, and initials. I don't like how it's referred to as refrigeration drawers.
Well, they are refrigerated.
I know.
By the way, sorry, this is off topic, but kind
You're
of
fine.
not off topic. Mortuary's Assistant movie comes out soon.
Yeah, I got that thinking I was going to play it. That shit gave me anxiety.
So she made me play it for her.
I sat there and I watched her play it, and I was screaming. And Steven's like, shh, you're so loud. I'm like,
Never mind the
"Shut
fact
fuck
that
up."
I can hear him whenever we're gaming together.
No shit.
They always do that shit.
Men.
Blech.
One line had been added overnight. The entry recorded drawer 3 as opened at 1:42 a.m. and closed at 1:47. They were having a party for like 5 minutes.
Hey.
The initials did not match any coroner, attendant, or hospital staff member on payroll. The hospital had no overnight morgue personnel. The building was locked at 9 p.m., and the morgue wing was secured with a keyed steel door. No emergency cases had been admitted during the night. Drawer 3 contained the body of a woman pronounced dead the previous afternoon following a hit-and-run collision. She had been identified and scheduled for release to her family later that day. No autopsy had been ordered. When the drawer was open at 6:51 a.m., the body was present and undisturbed. The position was unchanged. The toe tag was intact. However, the sheet covering her upper torso had been folded differently than it had been left. Ooh. That's one job I would not want.
Mm-mm.
No. We should go and investigate a morgue.
Oh, I am so down.
There was I need to get a hold of one of the girls I worked with at Great Clips, because she became friends with a guy who worked in the morgue in one of the hospitals here close by, and he was going to let us come in and check out the morgue and stuff like that. Yeah, I need to get a hold of her and figure out if that's true. Because he talked to us. He's like, yeah, if you guys ever want like a tour of the morgue or to come investigate it, whatever, blah, 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 blah. So I need to get a hold of him. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Give me the creepy morgue. I want to see.
I see it. I don't know exactly what he says.
No, that's, yeah.
Okay, cool. The refrigeration unit was checked. Temperature logs showed no fluctuation. The motor had not cycled abnormally. No frost disturbances suggested prolonged exposure. Security staff reviewed the overnight access log. No keys had been checked out. No doors were forced. And the hallway outside the morgue showed no footprints or scuffing. One detail stood out. The chalkboard mounted beside the drawers used for temporary notes had a single word written on it in block letters. Done. The chalk matched the piece kept in the supply drawer. No one recalled writing it. Police were notified but found no evidence of trespass. The incident was marked as an internal documentation error. The chalkboard was wiped clean, and the morgue ledger remains archived. It documents a 5-minute access to a refrigeration drawer during hours when the wing was locked. No staff were present, and the body inside was not scheduled to be touched.
Ugh.
Brother, ugh. No thanks. Yeah, no, I could not work in a morgue.
Have you seen?
No.
And you might not have, because I know you don't really do horror movies, but The Autopsy of Jane Doe.
No.
It's like a father-son duo that work in a morgue.
Yes.
That movie fucked me up. That's a good one.
Yes, I have seen that. Yeah.
Because like I think the son didn't really want to do that, and like the girlfriend and him wanted to go on a date or something, so he was gonna leave.
Yeah.
And then,
shit happens.
yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that. That was a fucked up movie. No, no thanks. Respect to all the dead bodies, but I don't want to be working with them, because that's
Just working with them and the mortuary's assistant was enough for me.
too many. You know, I've thought as a cosmetologist, because I can do hair and makeup technically.
You could do it.
I think I could only do it if I was requested by like a family to do it.
Well, because like, would you be?
I don't think I'd be able to do it for anybody that I personally know, just because I know pretty much everybody that I know wants to be cremated anyway.
Well, so would you technically do it after the like if
reconstruction and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't have a license to do like any of the reconstruction, because I think that is done by those who do like the embalming and stuff.
Yeah, okay, that would make sense.
So I can't personally do that, but once they get to the point where it's just like
the surface,
makeup and hair, that would be whenever I could do it.
Yeah, because that's what I was wondering about, like the reconstruction.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do that. I would have to go to a course for all that. But one of the girls that I worked with at Great Clips, she told me that she's done that before. And also I was talking to Brandy at work about it, and she said that it's weird because like the hair texture is totally different. Obviously the person's not alive anymore. But like it's hard to get color to hold. It's hard to get it to hold anything really, and like the skin and whatever. And I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Although Although, after seeing some, it really makes me want to be like, I can go in there and do their makeup up nice for them. Because, no offense to some of them, I'm just like, ooh.
Some of it I feel like they do more of a, like it's almost like theatrical.
Yeah.
Like if it was a stage makeup
Which, like,
situation.
I'm not saying anything. If anybody is watching that works in that type of line of work or knows somebody who does, I don't know.
I'd be curious to learn more about it.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. I don't know if they have to cake and layer that shit on because obviously the person's not there and the skin's a different texture. I'm sure it's hard. I'm sure it's really hard. But
it might also be a different like makeup base than what
I think they have to use different makeup than like normal makeup that we use every single day. So yeah. I don't know. I could do their nails too. I can give them nice pretty fingernails. But yeah,
they'd be slaying in the afterlife.
All I can say is if I was working in a morgue and a body sat up or twitched or moved or whatever before it got involved, I would flip the fuck out. Because I know it can happen. No. I would have nightmares for years. The rest of my life. Fuck that.
You are a nightmare.
No, I know. I don't need to add on to it.
You fuck around, you're going to find out.
Fafo. Fuck around, find out. Fafo. Yep.
With that being said, do you have anything else you would like to add?
No.
Okay. Let us know. Let us know how you liked this episode. Are you okay with these kind of more like chillax, laid back ones? We want to know. If you have any personal stories, let us know at the afterlifehotline@gmail.com or on any of our social medias. Do you think these are AI stories?
Part of me kind of did.
I think they do. I think they are because in every one we read towards the end, it would be like, the documents were here at the archive of da-da-da-da, and they documented this, this, and this. And so they were so repetitive that I do feel like they are AI. I feel like the places might be real.
Yeah.
But I feel like some of them, or maybe
or like the stories were real, but they were like condensed down
and condensed,
or something.
like summarized.
Yeah.
By AI.
If you guys also have other places like other than Reddit and stuff that you suggest that we can find some spooky stories to share with everybody,
some forums, some Facebook groups.
We're totally down to dig into those. Any of your personal stories, totally down to read those. Yeah. And
with that being said, keep one ear on the line. No, keep one foot in the living world.
And 1 ear on the line.
Bye.
We've only been doing this for over a year now. It's okay.
Listen, Linda.